Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to our Tuesday Maths. I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's Maths, where it was nice and fun and nice and light for a Monday. We're going to step it up a little bit now. We're still looking at shapes for the rest of the week. So the first thing I want you to do, as usual, is read out the learning objective out loud to your parents or to yourself or siblings if you're with them. Have a go, pause the video, read it out loud, and then come back to me and I will read it out to you all as usual. Pause the video. Okay, so my turn. Learning objective. I can identify a line of symmetry in 2D shapes. So learning objective, I can identify a line of symmetry in 2D shapes. Well done if you read that out nice and clearly and you said and pronounced the word symmetry correctly. That's the key word that we're looking at today. Hopefully you've come across it in year 2, but we're going to cover it in more detail today. So let's have a look. So before we put line of symmetry to practice, it's important we know the definition of what the word symmetry means. So symmetry is where one half of the shape is the reflection of the other half. This means you could fold the shape and both halves exactly match. So let's look at my example to help us understand what the word symmetry means. We have, of course, a triangle that we looked at yesterday. If we was to fold the shape, the triangle, and it matches exactly on both sides, where both sides are touching when you fold it, it is a line of symmetry. So if you have, like me, I have some scissors and some scrap piece of paper. If you want to cut a triangle and test to see if it has a perfect line of symmetry by cutting out a triangle and folding it perfectly in half to see if all the edges touch, then have a go, post a picture on to your dojo portfolio, and let's see if anyone can find the first line of symmetry before we do the rest of the activities. So pause the video and have a go if you've got some scissors and scrap paper. Yesterday we focused on two main properties of a shape, and that was how many sides it has and how many vertex or vertices we have in a shape. Today we're going to be looking at shapes to see if we can add it as a symmetrical shape to its properties. So a symmetry or a symmetrical shape is another property that we look at in shapes to help us gather a more understanding in depth of what a shape is and what the properties are. So I prepared earlier to make sure that I can show you in person. A circle can be folded exactly in half, so we can call it a symmetrical shape. So for example, I just got a scrap piece of paper. It's not a perfect circle because circles are the hardest shapes to cut perfectly. But if you notice, I have cut this out of a scrap piece of paper, and if I open it up, it is almost a circle, maybe an oval, okay? But if I fold it, you will notice that all the sides are perfectly aligned. So we can say that this shape here is a symmetrical shape. Remember, if you draw that line straight down and both sides are exactly the same on each side of the line, it is a symmetrical shape. So if you've got some scissors and scrap pieces of paper, then feel free to cut out a circle as best as you can, and then see if you can fold it and make it have a symmetrical line on it. Okay, so have a go, pause the video, use some paper and use your scissors to help you. Now, interestingly, although we're looking at shapes today, we can also use a mirror. So I know sometimes it's hard to find a mirror, but I went in and I found my grandma luckily had some mirrors because I'm not in school today, but luckily she had a mirror from her makeup bag, which some of your parents hopefully have. So if you've got a mirror, small mirror preferably, then get it in front of you and it'll help you look at some of the lines of symmetry today. So even though we're looking at shapes, like I said, the example I've got on the board is a butterfly. Now, if you look at the butterfly, what we have done is we've placed perfectly in the middle of the butterfly the mirror. Now, look carefully. If you look into the mirror, ask yourself, is the picture that we can see in the mirror, the reflection of the butterfly, is it perfectly the same as what has been reflected? So have a think, is it symmetrical, this butterfly? Put your hand up if you think it's yes, it is symmetrical. Put your hand up if you think it's no, it's not symmetrical. Well done if you came up with the answer. This butterfly is perfectly symmetrical. If you drew a line straight down it, it has a line of symmetry. So well done if you came up with the answer yes. We have now understood what a line of symmetry is, where when we fold something or we put a mirror there, both sides are exactly the same as you can see in the mirror, or if you fold them, all the sides are touching. There's no difference in there. Now, what we're going to do is some shapes, including the circle, but we're going to focus on the square. You can fold different shapes like the square in half in more than one way. So if you look at my square, I have folded it into different ways to show a line of symmetry. So what I want you to do is look at the different lines of symmetry that I've put on the square. I want you to count them and I want you to come up with an answer. How many lines of symmetry does a square have? Pause the video and count the lines of symmetry. So hopefully you counted them, so let's count them together very carefully. We've got one going down, we've got two going across horizontally, and then we've got three going diagonal, and then we've got another going diagonal. So we've got 3 add 1, which is 4. So a square has 4 lines of symmetry, so it's a very special shape as a square. It has 4 lines of symmetry. Well done if you got the answer correct. It has 4 lines of symmetry. It's time to put it into practice now. So if you've got at home, like I have a scrap piece of A4 paper, so the big normal paper that you'd use to print out of a printer. If you've got that, put that in front of you now. So my question to you is, can you find more than one line of symmetry for a rectangle? So what I want you to do is get your piece of paper in front of you and I want you to fold it in different ways and see how many different lines of symmetry you've got. Okay? So pause the video and come up with an answer. How many lines of symmetry does a rectangle have? Pause the video. Okay, so let's run through it together. If I've got my piece of paper here and I look to fold it straight down the middle, I need to now check, do the lines and the sides match up with no overhanging like that? My answer is yes. So my first line of symmetry is straight down the middle. Now, my next job is to fold it back open and I need to see. So let's check if we've got a horizontal line of symmetry. If I fold it horizontally, same again. Let's check, run my finger across. Is there any edges that are hanging out, which would mean it's not got a line of symmetry? Let's check both sides. Yep. So my second line of symmetry for a rectangle is the horizontal line. But let's check, see if it's similar to a square now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingers on each corner and I'm going to match them up right in the corner and I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold now. Now, let's check if we've got lines overhanging. So I have got one edge here, but we have got one side that's overhanging. So does that mean it's a line of symmetry, the horizontal, the diagonal line? Does that mean it's a diagonal line of symmetry? No, it doesn't. So with the rectangle, we only have two lines of symmetry. So the answer you should have all got is 2. So well done if you got the answer correct. It has 2 lines of symmetry. A slightly trickier question that you might get in your test, you might have a question like this where we have a picture, obviously it's a clown, but there are some key shapes on there. We can also find the line of symmetry in images like this. Here is our clown face from shapes. We can draw a line using a ruler down the middle to show a line of symmetry for this image. So let's have a go. I'm going to draw my line perfectly down the middle. If I was to fold that clown in half, it would have a line of symmetry straight down the middle. So it does have one line of symmetry, but it is always important to check other ways before we come up with an answer that quick. Same with any maths question, it's important to double check your answer. Let's now fold our clown horizontally. If I was to fold our clown horizontally, would it have a line of symmetry there? Ask yourself, put your hand up if you think it has a line of symmetry there. Put your hand up if you think it does not have a line of symmetry going across. Well done if you said it doesn't, it would not match up, it does not mirror the same image and the same shape. So our clown only has one line of symmetry. I have come up with some questions that you might be asked in your test this year, just to double check that you've learnt the skill of lines of symmetry and you understand how you can find one or more lines of symmetry in any shape that is thrown in front of you in your test. So first of all, look at the shape. Of course it is a flower. Where would you draw lines of symmetry for this image? That's the first thing you need to think in your head. But in your test, you would be asked, is there only one line of symmetry in this flower? So if you've got this printed out in front of you, that's great. You can cut out the shape and you can fold it in different ways to see if there's lines of symmetry. If not, then you can have a go at drawing the flower, or if you want to use a ruler to find out and see if there's any lines of symmetry in this flower, that's great. Pause the video, have a couple of minutes to come up with an answer. Is there only one line of symmetry or is there more? Pause the video and have a go. Okay, let's have a run through our answer now. If I was to draw lines, which I'm going to do now, my first one, of course, is straight down the middle. If I fold this, then it would perfectly match up with the other side because it's a perfect mirror image of the flower. Our second line of symmetry would be diagonal because it's the same as straight down the middle. If you fold it, there would be no edges that are going over each other and overlapping. So our second line of symmetry is diagonal. Third line of symmetry, the same again, it's diagonal, so we know for a fact our third line of symmetry is the other way diagonal. And then to finish it off, we have our fourth line of symmetry, which goes straight across. Now, just to point out, there is other ways that you could find line of symmetry in this flower, but we're going to focus on answering the question because that's the key thing in a test. And to answer our question, if you said there is more than one line of symmetry in this flower, you would have got full marks on your test. So well done if you said there is more than one line of symmetry in the flower. Give yourself a pat on the back. post pictures on your dojo portfolio if you have done it practically, because us teachers in year 3 would love to see some of your work on there. My next question to you is, we're going to look carefully at these triangles. Do they all have at least one line of symmetry? So use the skills that we've been learning throughout this lesson today. If you've got them printed off, that's great. Draw lines and see if you can fold them if you've printed them out, and see if any do not have a line of symmetry. Remember, you don't need to do more than one line of symmetry for this question, because all it's asking is, do they have at least one? So there is a trick to triangles when we do our line of symmetry. If you look at the bottom bar, it says if all the sides of a triangle have a different length, there is no line of symmetry. So be careful with that and think about that when you answer this question. Pause the video, come up with an answer, put a tick if it's got a line of symmetry, or put a cross across the triangle if you think it does not have a line of symmetry. So pause the video and have a go. We're now going to quickly run through our answer to double check that we got them correct. Our first triangle, if you remember at the start of the lesson, I showed you this triangle. We know that all the sides are the same length. So if we put a line of symmetry straight down and we fold it, or if we put a mirror down that line, you will see it does have a line of symmetry, so you can put a tick. Let's look at the purple triangle now. So this triangle, it does have some sides that are the same length. If you put a line straight down, just like we did with the yellow triangle, you'll find that if you fold it, it has a perfect line of symmetry. So we can put a tick on that one. But let's look at the green one. If you look at the green one, it has different lengths on each side of the triangle. And remember, in my little clue to you was, if a triangle has different lengths for each side of the triangle, it does not have a line of symmetry. So if you try to cut that out, or maybe do that shape, you would not be able to find a line of symmetry. So the middle one is a cross, and that would be our answer if you was in a test, and you'd get full marks for doing that. So well done if you got that correct. Post your pictures on Dojo Portfolio, and let's see who's getting some dojos today. So looking back at yesterday's lesson when I mentioned the word polygon, if we look at regular polygons, which means where all the sides are equal in length, they will always have at least one line of symmetry. So here's my task to you. If you want to spend a little bit of time to get some dojos, then that's fantastic. Pause the video. Can you draw on as many lines of symmetry as you can see for each shape? And what I want you to do is, next to it, write how many lines of symmetries you've found. If you get them all correct, I will give you a wow dojo. So pause the video and have a little go. I look forward to seeing all your answers on Dojo. Make sure you upload it to your portfolio so all teachers in year 3 can see them. So well done if you've done that. Unfortunately, as you know, this slide means it's the end of our Tuesday maths lesson. I hope you all enjoyed it. As usual, I set you up with some key questions that test your skills. What I want you to do is upload these pictures to portfolio of your answers. If you get them all correct, I'll give you another wow dojo, because we've done really well today and it's a lot of information to take in, but I'm sure that with time and with your parents' help and with pausing the video and going back to each slide, you've done really, really well today. So don't forget, upload as much evidence as you can to your portfolio, and we look forward to seeing all your amazing work. It's bye from now from Mr. Craig. Have a lovely Tuesday and keep going this week. We're nearly there, so well done. See you later.